Obviously, selling in today's market is really tough. Budget scrutiny is high. Sales cycles are getting longer. I'm
Mm,
curious how you sort of coach your team through this market, and maybe what advice do you have for other sales leaders who are, kind of dealing with all the dynamics today?
yeah, it's a great question. I was just sitting with a number of startup founders and yeah, heads of go to market last night with New Capital, great group, and you know a lot of folks had shared, wow, our pipeline is slowing, our sales cycles are lengthening, our win rates are decreasing, it's harder to get budget right. Almost anybody selling anything is saying that right now, and in this environment, it's very natural. Internally, our CFO Scott is saying, "Hey, if it's not business critical, why are we using it? Why are we paying for it?" Right? Or forcing us to get leaner because that's the current climate, as it is for most companies in America and beyond. So what that means is, all right, well, the sale of look at this amazing product, it's awesome, it's going to sell itself. All of a sudden, that sale around how amazing the product is, the features, the benefits might not work as well. So what I found or what we found in this market and what we found at Trip Actions or Navan and when travel dried up during the pandemic was, hey, if we don't have a very clear line to the economic buyer themselves or himself or herself, that sale you cannot consider as getting done, right? Number two is if you don't have a very clear articulation of what it is, an understanding of what it is that that company cares most about right now. What are the biggest things that the CEO, the CFO, your economic buyer is thinking about at night? What keeps them up, what they're afraid of, and what they're ambitious about? And if you can't go connect what you do very directly to those one or two things, it's not three or four, those one or two things in a way that is credible and quantifiable, you should not expect that sale to get done. So what does that mean? That means the challenge becomes how do we make sure our narrative and our product, first of all, does our product actually do something that is meaningful and valuable and differentiated and drives business results for the buyer that we care about? If not, let's go figure out how to make sure it does that and how to make sure the buyers that we're targeting, the personas, the ICPs that we're targeting, there's a really strong product market, product customer fit. Once we know that's the case, then let's make sure our narrative actually resonates with that, that we've built those quantifiable data points that we can show them, that we can build out for that client specifically of that kind of value that will drive for them in the criteria or the currency that they care about. And then let's make sure that we are building strong champions who will get us to an economic buyer so that we can have that conversation directly. To me, if you don't have those elements in your sales process right now, or actually in your go to market and your overall product market or where you're focused as a company, things are going to be hard. Now, that's not a doomsday scenario. It's not a, you know what, if you don't have those things, just fold up shop and stop doing it. It's just a challenge to say, how do we go find those things in the go to market, in the product, in the sale that we're looking to execute today or go get us there, right? At Navan and Trip Actions, the idea of, hey, let's go help you do corporate travel much more effectively, all of a sudden sounded really tone deaf in March of 2020. Wait a second, you want telling me to travel more or are you insane? Do you want to get me killed? Right? But the idea of, hold on, do you think travel will come back at some point? If no, then we probably shouldn't be talking. If you think it will at some point, yeah, let's talk. Great. Is travel when it was big, when it was happening, or when it will come back? Is that a meaningful part of the budget that you want better visibility of? If yes, great, let's keep talking. And if those things are true, then let's actually use this time when you're not traveling to actually do a thorough review of the program so that you're not trying to change, build the plane while you're flying it, that you're actually building the plane while it's in the hangar and you have this unique opportunity to go make sure it's built right. Right. So that's a narrative example of why the worst time is actually the best time to be looking at something. And oh, by the way, speaking of the product pivot, hey, you might not be looking to do a lot of travel, but we have this fintech product. We have this spend management expense solution. Are you still having people now work from home and expense lunches or expense trainings or expense equipment? Do you have policies around that? Let's make sure we're helping you manage that spend really well, because guess what? In this COVID environment, we don't know what's going on and what will happen. So it's more important now than ever to manage that side well, right? So a product pivot, a product acceleration that really played to how do we actually speak to something that's really resonating with the same buyer right now that complemented the previous narrative. So that was really how I think in practice that that playbook sort of works out.